After 3 long years, it finally happened. We are thrilled to share that we received our first review from the US on our paddle. Hearing the words Ascend and Singapore from a reputable reviewer feels absolutely surreal. A huge thank you to Whiskey Dink for the fantastic video and insightful review.
All right, one of the other paddles that I was hitting that I told you is similar to the Spitfire and similar to the Unmarked is this one. This is a company called Ascend, based out of Singapore. This paddle is called the Sonic. Now, do you like the graphics? Are you retro 90s, graphics there? Little Apple IIe or Microsoft Paint, something like that. I don't know. I don't think that that's probably the world's slickest graphics, but maybe that's what they're going for. I like the Ascend logo, that type font, that kind of modern type font. But this is a USAP approved paddle. Came really gritty. Okay. They call their grit Ascend Grit. To my knowledge, it's untested, so I can't tell you about its durability. I can tell you it is fairly gritty. This is an elongated paddle. It comes in one colorway. This is the colorway. It's $135 after code, so it's very inexpensive. It's MPP with TPE, and I'll put a picture of the X-ray up. And it looks like your classic MPP surrounded, or foam around foam. You can see in there, it's got some internal weighting at 3 and 9, kind of basically 2 and 10, 3 and 9, kind of up there, a little bit on the higher side of the paddle. The grit, they quote on their website, the grit drops 20% in the first 20 hours of play and then stabilizes. And if you've seen some of the grit testing, like what John Q has noted, is that that's a very classic one. When you lose the grit, you lose it quick, and then will it hold from thereafter? Is kind of how raw carbon fiber is, and a lot of these, even these durable grits, are kind of falling within that. So a 20% drop in the first 20 hours of play. That sounds like that's going to be tier 3, borderlining tier 4, but we'll see if some of our grit testers get a hold of this and test that grit. But stats wise, 7.84 ounces, swing weight 117, twist weight 6.24, 6.5 by 7.5, swing weight 243. I'm sorry, balance point 243. Grip 5.44, although it's got a decent taper. You can get a two-handed backhand on here. 4.13 inch grip circumference. Soft face. And what's interesting is that there's only one layer of carbon on here. So as a lot of companies are going, they went from the 2 to the 3 layers to the 4 layers, just one. But it feels great. So I think there might be something to that you don't really have to lay all those layers of carbon on there, because there's just one layer. But this is a nice, soft feeling power paddle in that same range as the Unmarked, in that same range as the Spitfire. I think it's actually, I put it slightly below the Unmarked and above the Spitfire. So this is a really good feeling paddle. I'm in a little chat group with Andy from Sweet Spot Pickleball and Dr. Christie from Dr. Christie Price Pickleball. If you haven't seen, we've done a couple pods together. We have an interview with Yvonne from Pickleball Apes that hopefully will drop soon. We're probably going to do some more. But anyway, this is a real favorite among us. I think Dr. Christie has put this as her main territory for her. And I got to say, this is definitely going to be in the top 5 paddles in my bag. This plays a lot like that Unmarked, a lot like that Spitfire, a lot like the paddle that I like to swing right now. So it feels great. 135 after code. That's really hard to beat. If you want to have a paddle that not everybody else has, check them out. I think they're onto something here. The guy, the paddle maker, like you said, this is made in China, like with, I think, every single paddle that we're going to talk about today. But he's out of Singapore. He's really trying to push his brand. I think he's onto something. I don't think he's just a catalog guy that picks some stuff out. I think he's really trying to make himself as a paddle maker. And yeah, if you could just switch out those graphics, Ascend, then I think you got a super duper winner in here. But even with that, 135 Elite, 2 thumbs up. Yeah, always in my book.
Be sure to click the link in the description for the full video. Thanks for watching.